Broadcasting from the basement of La Penta, this is WICR.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe Archino here with Antonio Coppola. Rob Buncardo had a christening to go to, or he went with his uncle to Six Flags, something like that. So he's out of the studio today. Antonio filling in, and I don't know if there's a better place to start a more hotter team, not just in the NBA, but in sports, than the Golden State Warriors. The NBA season really starting to kick up and get into full gear. The Warriors have not skipped a beat, 11-0. And now, Antonio, all the storylines are, can they beat or match the Bulls' 72-10 record? Now, it's early. There's still a lot of things that could happen, but what would you say to that notion right now?
Well, we were just talking about it before the show, Joe. I mean, I think it's totally possible. If you just looking at the year they had last year, I mean, 16 losses, obviously 6 away from that mark of 10, but just as a whole, I mean, if you look at them this year, obviously they're undefeated, but you know, Steph Curry and for the most part the rest of this team, they look like they're in midseason form. They have looked like that since the opening night of the NBA about a month ago. I mean, this team is just on a tear. No layoff, no hangover whatsoever from that championship. I mean, it looks like they're right back in it again as the favorite, and they're going to repeat. I mean, to me, I don't know about you, but they're definitely my favorite to go back out of the West. I know San Antonio's made all those moves, adding Aldridge, David West, obviously they kept Kawhi Leonard. But no, the Warriors, they definitely have a chance to get to that record, and let's just be honest, Steph Curry looks like it looks like he's going to get the back-to-back MVP award again. So
well, that's the thing. I think right now, like I'm like you, like the Spurs, I loved everything they did, but I think the one thing the Warriors have that no one else in the West can match is their speed. The speed that they play with, I mean, man, they have guys who could just fly, and it's a young roster. I mean, they don't have Andre Iguodala is one of their older players who, again, is not saying much. This is just such a deep, well-put-together team. They have so much balance, and I just think, like you said, Stephen Curry is just playing on another planet right now. 33.4 points per game, 5.6 assists per game, and 5.1 rebounds per game. His player efficiency rating right now is a 35.50, one of the highest ever to start the season. Now, here's the question which a lot of people have been putting polls together for us. Is Stephen Curry the best player in the NBA now? Is he better than LeBron James in the NBA right now?
I mean, you're gonna ask me. I'm
Of
gonna
course,
say
you know I have to ask you.
I'm gonna say yes. I mean, LeBron is LeBron. He does obviously he can do much more than Steph Curry can.
Yes.
But Steph Curry is better at a few aspects. Obviously, the shooting. I mean, just looking at the game by game breakdown, Steph Curry already has he has a 40-point game, a 53-point game, a 46-point game. 234 point. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The way this guy can score, and not only that, he's also up there in the league in assists per game. But no, going back to him, if he's the best player in the NBA right now, I think you have to say so. Coming off that MVP award, a lot of people say he didn't deserve it. I didn't. I thought he did. I didn't. Everyone thought.
Last season he absolutely did.
He did. And for those that didn't, they were on the James Harden bandwagon, and the Rockets.
Never would have given it to James Harden in a million years.
You can't. I mean, the guy.
He earns half his points are at the free throw line. I mean, just the officials blow the whistle every single time. It's not fun to watch.
Not at all. He runs up the lane and he throws his elbows out there and he gets the calls, and that's how he gets a majority of his points, like you said, at the free throw line. But no, Steph Curry, I mean, coming off that MVP season, it's hard to just envision him coming back again, returning this season, and doing the same thing, and he's just duplicating last year all over again. It's amazing to see. But I don't see another player in the NBA that is playing up to his level right now. I don't know about you.
See, I'd say to start the season, unquestionably, the best player in the NBA. I think when people want to kind of shift the storyline, who's the best player in basketball, obviously it's still LeBron. But if you want to say, like the polls have said, who is the best NBA player to start the season, no question, it's Stephen Curry. No one's even close. The only thing that, again, I think there are people who after the finals, I'd say more the younger kids who think that he's the best player in the NBA. But I think the place he still has not ever set himself apart is on the defensive side. And that's the thing is LeBron has just shown the ability to completely take over games or series on the defensive end of the basketball. Stephen Curry, I still don't think we've ever seen that. And again, his team doesn't really lose back-to-back games. I mean, at home, they almost never lose. Even in the playoffs, they weren't put in a lot of situations because of how good they are, how fast they are. They just play with a pace and a tempo and can score so easily that they build it up. They're such a difficult team to balance and match up against, and it all goes back to the draft in 2012. I think you look at how they were able to get Draymond Green, Festus Ezeli, and Harrison Barnes. You look at how big impact players two of those guys have been right off the bat, and Festus Ezeli is a pretty nice player to have as well. Little things like that in the draft, hitting on a draft that important just shows the importance of it in the NBA, and we just don't have a lot of GMs who really have quality drafts like that. But you give Bob Myers, the GM for the Warriors, so much credit because that 2012 has set them up for success, not just winning last year, but winning for the future.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned Festus Ezeli. It's funny because I was watching their game that was broadcast on ESPN. I think it was last week, maybe a week and a half ago. Jeff Van Gundy was talking to Mike Breen during the broadcast, and he was saying Festus Ezeli is a starting center on most NBA teams.
Oh, no question.
And I was watching the game, and I was like, he's right. He is a great player. I mean, obviously they have a lot of depth at that position, whether it's Bogut, Ezeli, Spates. They have a lot of guys they can throw in there. They obviously they like to play the small ball. They throw Draymond Green at the center position often, and he's able to hold his own. Who, by the way, was also re-signed. I think he got $82 million guaranteed in the offseason. It's amazing how they're finding a way to keep this core of players together. Thompson, Curry, Draymond Green. You mentioned Iguodala earlier. He's getting on the older side, but I mean the way he was able to lock down LeBron in the final. I mean, I say lock down. I should say contain LeBron in the finals.
Contain's a good word.
Contain LeBron in the finals, and it ended up getting that MVP award. But one more stat before I throw it back to you. Last year, this was just amazing me. I mean, the Warriors. They didn't lose 3 games in a row all season.
No.
And when you play with that sort of consistency, just being able to, get over losses quickly and then just come back and go on a winning streak once again, I don't think they'll ever be able to rattle off. What did Miami have a couple years ago with 26 in a row or something?
The 27, I believe. It was 26 or 27, then they played Chicago, and Chicago snapped their streak. But yeah, I think Houston had the record with 33, and I think the Heat were in second with 26 or 27.
Right. Well, I'll finish up. I just wanted to say, I mean, I don't think that they'll be. Listen, the Warriors, look at them, give them whatever identity you want. They're still a jump shooting team, and they're gonna have off nights. So the way LeBron and D Wade and Bosh, that core three were able to dominate and go on that winning streak we just spoke of, I don't see the Warriors being able to do that, but that doesn't mean that they can't go 72-10.
No.
This team gets over losses very quickly. They'll lose a game here and there. Let's face it, they're the most dominant team at home I've ever seen in the NBA.
No
period.
question.
I've never seen another team dominate at home the way they do.
Oracle Arena is just a special place.
It is, and it's also I think it's the oldest arena in the NBA. And I mean, hopefully they don't do anything. They can renovate it. I hope they don't build a new arena because, like you said, that place is special, and it's bumping every night.
Well, I mean, here's one of the things about them, too, why they're so likable, and especially for the younger ages, is they're the most fun team to watch in the NBA. The way that they play is just entertainment everywhere. I mean, Stephen Curry is as fun as it gets, and I mean, LeBron, I would say he's even more fun for some people to watch than LeBron. Not for me, but for a lot of people, because his game is so flashy, and it's so effortless the way that he scores, and he can shoot and hit shots from anywhere on the court, and they're very unselfish, and that's where really it all comes together. It's such an unselfish group of players to have that youth and that depth together with guys who aren't complaining. I mean, there are a lot of teams where a guy like Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry would be at each other's throats because Klay Thompson wants shots, Stephen Curry wants shots, other guys want shots, Draymond Green wants, but they've just found a way where you could just tell that there's a unique closeness, tight-knit group here. And look, I mean, right now, it's just giving me flashbacks of what we saw to start the season last year. Remember David Lee barely even played to start the season for the Warriors. You would never know it, and he was essentially a non-factor for them. I think right now they just have this edge on them, this confidence about them. No one can, and if they have home court advantage in the playoffs again, who's gonna beat them?
I don't see it.
I mean, they don't lose back-to-back games at home. It doesn't happen.
I mean, if you look at their losses last year, I know I'm going back to last season, but they had 4 2-game losing streaks. So basically, they lost 2 games in a row 4 times. In November, they lost to Phoenix and San Antonio back-to-back. After that, they rattled off 16 in a row. In December, they lost against the Lakers and the Clippers back-to-back. After that, 8 wins in a row. January, they lost to Chicago and Utah twice in a row. They come back, rattle off 3 wins. And in April, they lost against San Antonio and the Pelicans, New Orleans Pelicans, and they rattled off 9 in a row right into the playoffs. So, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, this team bounces back when they lose. I mean, I don't see them going on a losing streak. And when your team can avoid, a week of bad play or your shots off, something like that, the way that they're able to just put it in the past, move on from it, and just move on to the next game. Steph Curry can go, 2 for 15 from 3 that one night, and then the next night he'll go for 50 points. It's just amazing to see. And like you said, they play fast, a lot of energy. Definitely the most fun team to watch in the NBA.
There's no question. They are as hot as it comes in the NBA. Stephen Curry has been the best player so far to start the season. That is enough Warriors praise. Gonna take a break. Going to come back, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.